Good day everyone. Welcome to Bahay Aralan. For this video, we will be learning about sentences in the active voice and passive voice. In English, voice refers to the form of a verb that tells whether the subject performs the action or the receiver of the action. If the subject in the sentence performs that action or the verb, it is in the active voice. For example, the architect designed the millionaire's mansion. The sentence is in the active voice because, as you can see, the subject, which is the architect, is the one that performed the action, which is designed, right? Another one, the waiter handed out the menus. This sentence is in the active voice because the subject, which is the waiter, is the one who did the action, which is handed out. Easy, isn't it? Now, how about passive voice? A sentence is in the passive voice if the subject becomes the receiver of the action. Let us have an example. Let us use the previous examples for us to easily see the difference. If we change it into a sentence in the passive voice, it will become, the millionaire's mansion is designed by the architect. As you can see, the subject in the active voice, which is architect, is already placed after the verb or action in the sentence. That is why it serves as the receiver of the action. And take note that it is introduced by the preposition by, while the words after the verb in the sentence in the active voice, or the direct object, which is the millionaire's mansion, is now the focus of the sentence in the passive voice. Let's have the other previously given example. If it changes into a sentence in the passive voice, it will become, the menus were handed out by the waiters. The same format. The subject in the active sentence, which is waiters, is now the receiver of the action, or the one that comes after the verb. It is introduced by the preposition by, while the object of the verb in the active voice is now the focus of the sentence in the passive voice. Is it clear? But aside from that, we also have to know the verb form or tense to use if we change a sentence in the active voice into the passive voice. First, if the verb in the active voice is in the simple present tense, the verb form to be used in the passive voice should be is, or are, or am, plus the past participle form of the verb. Is used for a singular or only one subject. Are is for plural or more than one, as well as you. And am is used if the subject is I. Now, let us have an example. David throws the garbage every morning. This sentence is in the active voice because the subject, which is David, is the one that does the action, which is throws. It is the simple present tense of the verb throw, and the direct object is garbage. If we change it into its passive form, we have to put the direct object first, which is the garbage. And then for the verb, since garbage is singular, we have to use is, then the past participle form of the verb throw, which is thrown. After that, we can now put the subject in the active voice, which is David, but let us not forget to put by before it. Lastly, the remaining words, every morning, meaning the correct passive form is, the garbage is thrown by David every morning. Is it clear? Another one, the teacher records the student's scores every day. This is a sentence in the active voice. The subject, which is the teacher, is the one that does the action, or the verb, which is records. And the complete direct object is student's scores. Now, let us focus on the verb, records. It is the simple present tense of record. So, what should be the correct passive form of this sentence? The direct object, which is the student's course, should now be the focus here. So, let's put the student's course first. Then, let us have the verb. Since student's course is plural, we will use are. Then the past participle of the verb record, which is recorded. Next, let us put the subject and the active voice, the teacher. But let us not forget the preposition by. And then, let's add the remaining words every day. Therefore, the passive form of this sentence is, the student's course are recorded by the teacher every day. Now, what if the verb in the active voice is in the simple past? We have to use was or were plus the past participle form. Was is used for a singular subject, including I, and were is used for a plural subject, as well as you. Let us have an example. Jessa wrapped the gift. In the sentence, the subject is Jessa, and she's the one who performed the action, or the verb, which is wrapped. This verb is the simple past form of wrap, and the object of the verb or direct object is gift. To change it into a sentence in the passive form, we have to put the direct object first, the gift. Then, as to the verb, since gift is singular, we have to use was plus the past participle form of the verb wrap, which is also wrapped. Then, we can now put the subject and the active voice, Jessa. Of course, after writing by. So, the correct sentence in the passive voice is, the gift was wrapped by Jessa. Another one. The fans greeted the artists cheerfully. The subject in this sentence is fans. The verb is greeted, which is the simple past tense of greet. And the direct object is artists. Now, to change it into a sentence in the passive voice, we need to put the direct object first, which is the artists. And then, for the verb, since the noun artists is plural, we have to use were plus the past participle form of the verb greet, which is also greeted. Then we can now put the subject above, which is the fans. Of course, after the preposition by. And then we need to put the remaining word cheerfully. So it is now the artists were greeted by the fans cheerfully. Is it understood? Let us have the last verb tense, which is simple future tense. So for this case, we have to will be plus the past participle form of the verb. Will be is used for both singular and plural subjects. For example, Dad will mow the front yard tomorrow. The subject in the sentence is Dad. The verb in the simple future tense is will mow, and the front yard is the direct object. So, for its passive form, we need to write the direct object first, the front yard, and then the verb will be plus the past participle of mow, which is mown, and then the subject and the active voice with the preposition by, and then the remaining word, which is tomorrow. So the answer is, the front yard will be mown by Dad tomorrow. Last example. Nick will deliver the mail on Monday. In this sentence, the subject is Nick. The verb in the simple future tense is will deliver, and the direct object is mail. Now, to change it into a sentence in the passive voice, let's put the direct object first, the mail. Then for the verb, we will use will be plus the past participle form of deliver, which is delivered, and then the subject, which is Nick, preceded by the preposition by. Lastly, we have to put the remaining words on Monday. So its passive form is the mail will be delivered by Nick on Monday. Is it clear? That said, that would be all. Thank you for watching. Stay safe.